So I'd like to welcome to the channel today Rodney Washington, or more commonly known on social media circles as Rodney the Realtor.
Yes.
Rodney, thank you for joining me.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you reaching out, and man, I am happy to be here.
Great. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to start with talking a little about Tampa a little bit. I know you grew up here. You've been in Tampa for a long time. You're very familiar, obviously, with the city of Tampa. Tell me a little bit about Tampa. What's going on right now in the city?
It's major growth in Tampa. Like, it's an exciting place to be. I always tell people that ever since Tom Brady came to Tampa, it brought an influx of people. It seemed like it brought a lot of new money. There's new development coming to Tampa. Have you seen the Water Street project? Have you in Channel Side? It looks awesome, and the plans for the Water Street Part 2 it looks beautiful. It's an exciting place to be in Tampa. We getting a lot of new residents moving to Tampa. It's really nice excitement going on in Tampa.
It's great. And I think, talking with people, it sounds like Tampa's over the last decade or 2 decades has kind of transitioned from sort of like a tourism destination into more of like a really real good place of business. Lots of jobs, lots of IT jobs, and other types of work. Are you seeing that as well?
Yeah, exactly. So if someone just getting a degree and they come into Tampa, I see that the starting is around 55 to 70 if you got a degree, depending on the company. So I see that a lot. So a lot of my clients are, in the age of 24, 25 and up, and they are making, close to 90,000 a year,
So young, highly educated,
exactly.
and have the money to spend.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
great. And Tampa's also home to two very well-known universities as well, right? University of Tampa and University of South Florida. Do you find that is also a draw for people coming to the area?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the UT, I have a lot of my clients that graduated from UT as well. And also with USF, I believe USF is a partner with Moffitt Cancer Center. I'm pretty sure. So, and they are recruiting people from overseas and bringing them over here. I had a client she was based in England, and Moffitt reached out to her on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn worked. For me, I didn't think that LinkedIn worked. but I guess it does, because so they reached out to her from LinkedIn and brought her from England over to the United States. And she is loving it. She brought her family. So once you're my client, you're always my client. Like, I help with everything. So her family came from England and they wanted to experience Tampa. So she was busy working, and I took them around for a tour. Like I say, once you're my client, I'm a family member.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of Moffitt, for people that don't know, that's one of the large cancer centers that's here in the Tampa area, and known as one of the best ones in the country at this point in time. So, obviously a big draw there for the expertise, at Moffitt. So that's great. So you've been in Tampa for a long time. What have you seen change in terms of the last 5 or 10 years from a real estate perspective?
Oh, the property. In some areas, it was common to find homes that was 100,000 and under. Now, and just for homes that need a lot of repair, they start at 200. And if you want something and I don't want to say bad areas, but areas that need improvement. Homes are starting over 300,000, and it wasn't like that 5 years ago. Like just recently, like 2 years ago, like before the pandemic happened, you could still get homes for 200,000, and once the pandemic hit and after, even in those homes areas that need improvement, it's 350 or 300 and above.
Wow.
Yeah. So
if you're moving to the Tampa area, you better be prepared that depending on the neighborhood you want, it's probably going to cost you to get into it now.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when the interest rates is an important thing, because once the interest rate, it was at 2% at one time. And so one of my listings, I had 50 offers because interest rates was so low. So it's a lot of competition because of the interest rate. So that 50 offers, that client, she wanted 250,000 in profit, and I got her 242. Do you think that she took the 242?
Probably not.
No, because of the competition, how the real estate market was. I had to reach out to all of those people that put in the offer and was like, sorry, she didn't accept any offer, and I had to raise the price. I had to raise the price, but because of the Tampa market, she got what she wanted. She got the 250,000 in profit. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, and if you talk about interest rates, and obviously interest rates have risen quite a bit here over the last couple of years, and maybe finally peaked towards the fall of this year. What are you seeing with interest rates as high as they are? Are you seeing them changing buyer behavior at all, or what are your expectations going into next year in terms of the buyer side of things, with interest rates still being pretty high?
So with the interest rate still being high, home prices hasn't really come down. There's still a lot of buyers still purchasing. It's the homes have been staying on the market a little longer. Like before, a home used to be going in a week. Now, the average is 30 to 60 days that a home will sit on the market, but the home value, or the price of the home, hasn't gone down as quickly as people thought it would be. And so there's rumors that next year interest rates is going to go down, but that's all projection. No one really knows. So if interest rate does go down, that'll be awesome. It'll be awesome for them to go, because a lot of people will be able to afford more homes. You don't have to go with that lower price point of trying to get something at 300,000 at an area that you don't want to be in.
Sure. With those lower interest rates, obviously your buying power is a lot higher.
Exactly.
So do you think that in terms of property values, obviously we've seen a lot of appreciation over the last couple of years. Do you feel like that appreciation is going to slow down a little bit? You mentioned it's probably not going to come down, but do you think it's going to kind of hold where it's at, or do you see it picking up at all next year?
Yeah, so next year I see that with the growth of Tampa, that it's going to increase. The property values, like I said, we have a lot of new development still coming, and because of the interest rates at 2%, that was at 2% before, those homeowners are not selling. So we got low inventory of homes. So we won't have a surplus of homes to bid on. So the home values is going to increase because we have low inventory.
Demand is still high, inventory is still fairly low, and just that mismatch continuing to drive prices up.
Exactly.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So Rodney, I found you from TikTok, and you spend a lot of time talking about rental rates, properties around Tampa area. From a real estate investor standpoint, looking into 2024, what would you say are some of the best opportunities for investors to look at, or what are some of the things you would recommend for investors to look at?
So multifamilies is always a go-to, because I had a client that she bought a multifamily. I wish I would have got it. She got a multifamily, a quadplex. It was a four bedrooms, well, 4 rooms. And so at the time with the rental rates in Tampa, like I said, they was pretty low before. It was going $800 for each room. $800 was the rent rate. So as we got the contract on the home, I told her, I was like, with the growth of Tampa, I could see these homes going for $1,000 or more. And so she's from Atlanta, and she was like, I don't think so, Rodney. I was like, trust me. And each room now is $1,200 a piece.
Wow.
So our multifamilies is the way to go. Always the way to go here in Tampa, because of the rental market. And single family homes, if you are comfortable with renting out each additional room, you can make it's going anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 just to rent out a room. So there's big advantages of multifamily, and if you're comfortable renting out, buying a home just to rent out each room
Either
individually.
Room. Well, for somebody who's never done real estate investment, who's never been a landlord, what are some of the trade-offs with doing renting out by the room versus renting an entire apartment or a series of apartments in a multifamily building?
Okay. So with the home, let's just say that the home is the mortgage is $2,000, but that's for a 3-bedroom. $2,000 to rent out the whole entire home. But if you do each room individually, you can do $1,000. The going rate in Tampa is $1,000 a room. So you make $1,000 in profit, versus just renting out the entire home. The only drawback with that is the turnover rate. You will have a turnover rate. You just got to be a little bit smarter of where the leasing comes in. My clients, they do a month to month, so it'll be easier to evict someone than doing a 12-month lease.
Sure.
Yeah.
So maybe somebody who's younger and looking to get started, even though it's a little bit more work or a little bit more management intensive, it's a great opportunity to make a little bit better profit off of the property. And as long as you're willing to put the work in, versus what may be a little bit more hands-off, renting out an entire unit by itself or, multiple units in an apartment building.
Exactly. That's a good point. So it's about no deal in Tampa, I think, is a bad deal. You just got to structure it right. You just got to know, okay, well, this is not working, so let me try this. And there's major opportunity here in Tampa.
In terms of neighborhoods of Tampa, are there certain neighborhoods that you're finding better opportunity for investors to get into, either for that or for multifamily type property?
So for rental up and coming neighborhoods, where the average price is around $300,000 to $350,000, I'm seeing a lot of opportunity there. So you could get in $300,000. 3 bedrooms. The going rate in Tampa for 3 bedrooms is $2,000. So at the minimum, you can break even. But if you do it room to room, and depending on your down payment and your interest rate, you can make a profit. But if you go room to room, it may take extra work. It takes extra work, but it's more profitable, I think, of doing room to room to room. Good point of East Tampa. East Tampa is a high rental area, but the home appreciation is real. It's lovely in that area. I bought a house there in 2004, 90,000.
Probably worth a couple times.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. Same area, 90,000. And once in the telltale signs, once you see people jogging, that's one of the funny things about it. They say, once you see people jogging, you know the neighborhood is changing, and you have that all over Tampa. I'm very excited for Tampa.
That's great. Yeah. And East Tampa, the neighborhood that you mentioned, that's still pretty close to like transportation and amenities and other things. It's not a bad part of town to be in, is it? Yeah,
exactly. So I grew up in Tampa, so I don't think there's any real serious neighborhoods in Tampa that you got to be concerned on. That's because I grew up here, so I know every inch of it. I kind of know almost everybody. So I don't see Tampa having a real bad neighborhood like compared to other states. Where I hear that some things going down, like Chicago. I haven't been to Chicago, so I don't know exactly how it is. But from the news, I see that it's not a place to be.
Sure.
So I don't see like East Tampa. Like I said, once you start seeing the people jogging, and the neighborhood is changing. That's happening all over Tampa. Yeah. And it is good to get in early. Like I said, when I bought that home, it was 90,000. Now it's worth like upwards of 300,000. Because in that area, if it's livable and you don't have to do any work to it, it's going to be the home value is going to be 300 plus.
Oh, that's great. So if I'm somebody who's thinking about getting into real estate investment, What are some of the things you would recommend to kind of start preparing myself to do that?
Get a team. Teamwork is important. Get someone that knows the area, that knows what they're doing. I know it's cliche. Get with a realtor. And be like, oh, people gonna say you. Of course, you're gonna say that you're a realtor, but get somebody that knows the area. Get a team. Get your lender in place. See what the strategy that you want to do. Like I say, it's many options. If you want to buy and flip. Get a team around that. Hey, that's what I want to do. I just want to flip property. If you want to buy and hold and rent out rooms, get your team set up with that. I say finding a team first is the most important. And just going out doing. Don't go overboard. Like try to do some research on repairs, because I see a lot of people get in trouble with that. They under budgeting for repairs. And some of these repairs can be costly. I've seen one of my clients, they are paying for a new electrical panel, and they didn't expect that to be $8,000. Like they just budgeted maybe at $2,000. Like it's $8,000. So get your budget, call around, see what's the actual, what it costs to repair those certain items.
It's interesting. Obviously, you've been working in real estate in Tampa for a long time. A lot of people, whether it's lenders or contractors or other people, that can help investors in the business. Certainly, a lot of value that you can provide to investors. If they're thinking about buying property, it's great. What would you say is the if you look across some of the investors that you've worked with, especially ones that are just starting out, what would you say is the single biggest mistake that they commonly make?
Or the repairs. Yeah. Like I said, they under budgeting for repairs. Like I say, Tampa is a place where there's no really a bad deal. It's just how you structure it. And it just, when it comes down, it's just the repairs. A new roof in Tampa is going to be $11,000 to $12,000. If you thinking it's $5,000, you're sorry, you're going to be in trouble. Homes that's in the 1950s, once you purchase in them, 1950s and under, you need to look for electrical. Make sure the electrical is changed, and the plumbing. The plumbing is a big issue. They got the galvanized pipes, so it's hard to get insurance with galvanized pipe. So those things that you got to consider. That's why I say getting a team is really important.
Certainly. You mentioned insurance, and obviously, living here in Tampa myself, I'm pretty familiar with the insurance crisis that we're kind of having right now. Rates are going up pretty rapidly. Yes. I'm curious, are you seeing that this is more of a problem in certain parts of town or other parts of town, or is the rapid increase in insurance rates affecting everybody? Everybody.
Me, you, yeah, it's all around Tampa. We're in a nice area here. I'm out in Apollo Beach, and my insurance got raised. They were like, well, why the insurance raised? And they was like, oh, inflation. Okay, well, inflation. But yeah, so that's the biggest concern right now in Tampa, is the insurance. Insurance on the rise. Taxes, depending on the area that you're in. A newer established area like I'm in, the taxes will be $8,000 to $9,000 for the year. Then you'll get a homesteaded. So once you homestead a home, your taxes go lower. But in the area like East Tampa, the property taxes are lower, like $4,000. So that you got to budget. You got to budget for the insurance and the taxes. It's really important.
How does the age of the property affect interest rates? If I'm looking at buying an investment property, and as we're sitting here, obviously we see these new construction, houses that have all been built to hurricane standards here within the last couple of years. When you start talking about a house that's like 50, 60 years old, is that an impediment at all from a real estate investment standpoint for getting insurance?
Yes. Like I said, like the galvanized pipes, like that's an issue with insurance. Hurricane impact windows. These are things that will give you, if you have them, awesome, you could get credit for them. But if not, your insurance rate is going to be higher and then higher than you budgeted for. You know, if you budgeted everything included like 2,500, and it turns out that, you know, the mortgage is 3,000 now because you didn't budget correctly for the insurance or the taxes, and now you're at 3,000, and the rental rate in your area is only calling for 2,400, 2,500. Then that's where, you know, it's a concern.
So if I've got a property that's older like that, and those things haven't been done yet, the windows haven't been switched out or the plumbing hasn't been updated, any risk that I'm not going to be able to get insurance at all? Or is it just more a matter of, if you take those, you know, wind mitigation factors and, you know, update the plumbing or electric or whatever, that it'll give you the lower rates? I mean, what are you seeing with that? Yeah.
So that's why I said get with a team, because that I would have searched for to make sure that happened. And if that didn't happen, that's where you negotiate. Be like, hey, you know, I need 20,000 off of the price of this home because I need to change the plumbing, because I won't be able to get insurance. So, you know, building a team, because someone gonna have to do it. Either you're gonna not get insurance and it's gonna be trouble, or you're gonna have to come out of pocket and do it yourself. So even before you purchase the home, purchase the property, that is something that your team should go over and advise you on this particular property.
That's great. When you start talking about, you know, doing things like plumbing or replacing windows, obviously now you're talking about, you know, needing to get permits and stuff like that. How have you found the city of Tampa to work with in doing these types of improvements?
Slow. Slow. Well, you know, I'm joking, but of course the city they work at their own pace, but it's not that bad of a turnaround. I think for a permit, I've seen maybe 2 months, so you do need to adjust for that. So yeah,
that's good. So, you know, as I mentioned before, I've seen you on TikTok. You do a lot of videos about what's available within certain rent amounts, you know, around town. You know, I'm kind of curious, like what's the biggest thing that you've learned, you know, from doing that?
Okay, so I started my TikTok showing realistic approach, because so a lot of my family members was sending me homes that was not legit. They'll send me homes and be like, hey, is this a real listing? And it'd be like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in a gorgeous neighborhood, kind of similar to this one. And it's only like $1,000 for a 3-bed. Like, no, it's, of course not. This is not true. So on my TikTok, I started to show what you actually get. So I finally found something in Tampa that was under $1,000 a month. If a house that is $900 a month, this is what you get. Like, you it's going to be in a up and coming neighborhood. It's not going to be too much space. So that's what I like to show on my TikTok.
Set your expectations.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is a realistic picture of what you're going to get for $900. And it's not that many properties. There are some, but so I find that homes that, like I was telling you, that a lot of people are doing, I think it's called pad split, where they're renting out rooms for $1,000. A room is $1,000 each. So I'm seeing that a lot now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has it helped you at all with getting familiar with the nuances of individual neighborhoods, going around and doing that?
Yeah. I love it. I love TikTok. TikTok is my number one place. I love it so much. At first, you know, I'm an older guy. Like TikTok, like of course not. That's not what I use. So I see my daughter was using it a lot more than. So she was like, "Dad, you should make a TikTok." So I made a TikTok, and you know, and once I start showing a realistic picture of Tampa, you know, it started to grow. So I love doing that. I love to go to different neighborhoods because it's a learning lesson. Like certain parts, like South Tampa area, where rentals are for a 3-bedroom is going to be upwards of $3,000 a month. A neighborhood like East Tampa, like we mentioned, for a 3-bedroom is going to be $2,000 a month. So I'm learning a lot with that the prices of homes in the different neighborhoods. So I'm really enjoying it.
Terrific. Well, let's switch out of real estate for a moment. I know one of the things that you've been involved in is you're actually a board member for a local youth development organization. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so our organization is called SOAR First. The Strength, Overcoming, Achieving, and Rebuilding is the acronym for SOAR. So we help underprivileged kids that may not have the resources or the knowledge to go to college. So we do college success. We take them on tours. We do small scholarships, not not big scholarships, but smaller scholarships. And we just help them succeed for the future. I really didn't have that when I was younger. I wish I did. So we're helping, underprivileged kids, around the neighborhood. We also, the kids that is part of the program, they do volunteer work for around the city. So we did for Thanksgiving that just passed. So 4 years ago, we started with 100 turkeys, giving out 100 turkeys to families. And this past Thanksgiving is 700.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's all from the love of the community, and our volunteers and people that's a part of the organization.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like you guys are doing a lot of good work.
Yeah. I am proud. My wife is the spirit. She is the president and CEO.
Oh, wow.
So she is the brains behind it. I'm the brawn.
Terrific. Well, just one last thing I wanted to ask you about. A couple weeks ago, we had another guest on who's a little bit of a cigar aficionado, and actually made a couple recommendations on some of his favorite cigars right now. I've noticed off your social media that looks like you occasionally also partake a good cigar, and I was wondering if you wanted to make any recommendations yourself.
I'm not that influent with the cigar community. I kind of stick with one cigar, and it's it is a little expensive. Pardon 1964. That's like my go-to. Other than that, I kind of zoned out. Like I don't know, what cigar is better. But I do love that it's smooth. But like I said, it does have a higher entry level. I think it's like $40 for the.
Would you recommend it with like a good glass of like bourbon or scotch or
anything? Because that cigar is so smooth. Like, oh my goodness! Like that's why it's you kind of pay for for what it's worth. Like it's smooth. It's a good beginner cigar. Like man, I just love it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, we're here in Tampa. We're known as the Cigar City, so
exactly.
I had to at least get one recommendation from you. So thank you very much.
Have you tried a cigar?
I occasionally I will do a cigar if my team wins the big game, something like that. But not to the level where I have any that I can recommend at this point.
Oh, I see that you're an Ohio State fan.
Ohio State fan.
Okay,
Big Ohio State fan. Well, Rodney, I want to thank you very much for coming and joining us today. Absolutely great discussion, and hopefully we can have you back and do another one sometime.
Okay, I would love that. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.